He texted me the next day and said, thank you. And I said, for what? And he texted me back for saving my life. And I texted him back and I said, I didn't save your life. You did. I just listened and told you how much better your life's going to be when you figure out you.
Welcome, everybody, to the Warrior Podcast. Today, I have a super special guest. His name's Kenny Avery. He's a Navy veteran. He served for 10 years. He is a director for K9 For Veterans, which is an awesome organization. He's also on a committee for the Forgotten Warrior Memorial. So with that said, welcome, Kenny Avery. I want to know everything about you, my friend. Thank you for serving our country, too.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So tell me, Kenny, let's go to the beginning. Tell me about your childhood, where you grew up, siblings, parents, neighborhood. You're an Italian like me, so we're going to have a lot of culture to share today.
Started out in Chicago, a little bit on the northwest side, and then my dad decided to buy a house in Berwyn.
Hey, did you know that before I moved here, came from Berwyn?
No, where at?
Well, I lived in 3 different spots, but I graduated Morton West High School in Berwyn and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was over by the rec center, 31st and Clarence, right off of 31st and East Avenue.
Okay, so I was on 28th and Wesley, which was just a few blocks from there.
Exactly.
So you were right by the pool, correct?
Yeah, right by the pool.
Yeah. Yeah, I was right by the baseball fields.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
How about that? You know, and when you live in Berwyn, like Lamont, this is like Beverly Hills. So we come out this way, you know.
That's funny. You know, I went from Berwyn. My dad bought a house back in 1969. And my mom, being Italian, she turned around and she's like, okay, you can't buy a house unless you buy a house big enough for my mom and my sister.
That is the Italian way, yes.
So my dad bought a 2-flat. We moved from the city of Chicago, moved out to Berwyn. In the middle of our driveway, we had an oak tree. So in order to get into the garage, you had to back in around the oak tree.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was an adventure. Trust me, it was an adventure. I lived right next to Dean, Morton West Dean, Mr. Reagan. He was my next door neighbor.
He was still the dean when I was in high school.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah, I knew his kids. I went to St. Joe's. My mom and my uncles were like, no, you're going to Catholic because there's no way you're going to graduate from public school. I was a little bit of a hellraiser. But yeah, no. So then we moved to Berwyn, and then my father passed away at a very young age. We were only in the house for like maybe 6 months.
What did he pass away from?
Brain aneurysm.
Wow.
Blood clot.
Was that fast?
From what I understand, what they told me, he picked up one of his coworkers, and they were on their way to work. He was an operating engineer, local 150, and on his way to work, he wasn't feeling good. Pulled over, thought he was going to get sick, and I guess he died instantly. So.
Wow.
I was 9. I don't remember a lot and kind of blocked out a lot.
Did you have siblings?
Yeah, I had a little sister. So
she doesn't remember that probably.
No, she was 7 when he passed away. She's gone now too.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, cancer runs in the family. Mm-hmm. Both sides of my family. My sister died of ovarian cancer a few years back. She was 42.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And then from Berwyn, raised a lot of trouble.
So when did the trouble start happening? Was it in grammar school, high school?
Oh, well, you know, when you're being raised with 4 women in the house and you're the only guy and you're a skinny little runt, you got picked on. And then one day I woke up and I had a growth spurt. So then the people are looking at it and you go, oh boy, he's 6 foot now. We're not going to mess with him. So, and then I had an attitude, bad attitude.
Which, thank God, you don't now.
Oh, I still do.
I was joking.
Okay, this is a facade. This is all a facade. I got in trouble, and between my mom, my uncle, my godfather, the attorney, the judge, kind of made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I joined the Navy.
Can I pause you here? Up until this point, have you done sports? What kind of student were you?
I was a lousy student. Sports, you know, as a kid, you played baseball. In high school, I played soccer, ran track for a little bit.
What was your track event?
I ran to 40 and the 100.
So you were fast then.
Yeah, I ran to 100. They timed me, I think it was 10-2.
Nice.
10-3. Yeah, I was quick. Very, very quick. Very fast. But as far as sports goes, it's like all these up here on top, they're all fake. I took a hockey stick to the mouth. I couldn't score a goal to save my life. But I could fight on skates.
Nice. So you were the enforcer for the team, right?
Yeah. You get the little tap on the shoulder. You're on the ice for 30 seconds. You're in the penalty box for 5 minutes. And then you come back, and then that's the last time you've seen the ice. Growing up, I like to get into a little bit of trouble, fight a lot. Me and my cousins were hellraisers.
Yeah. So we're gonna pause and stay on this before we go forward and hit in timeline. So you're Italian. You grew up with 4 women in the house. Food's got to be playing a huge role in your growing up, right?
Yeah. Well, my grandmother was 4'5" tall.
That's about what mine was too.
Yeah, but she was about 4'5" wide too.
So was mine.
Okay. And her favorite food instrument was the wooden spoon.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I got beat with that an awful lot. But I got to learn how to cook Italian. We didn't buy nothing out of the store that was pre-made. Grandma, we sat and made our own ravioli, spaghetti.
Nice.
And she taught me how to do a lot of that. And then Sundays, it was crazy because I come from, on the Italian side, we're a pretty large family. Tons of cousins. We would have 40, 50 people over every Sunday. For Sunday lunch and dinner, Grandma would cook, and then I would help her cook. And I learned how to make the meatballs and the Italian sausage and all that good stuff. I actually taught my kids how to do it.
Nice. Let me ask you, what region of Italy is your background?
I'm Nobly down in Calabrese.
Nice. I'm Sicilian, so when people tell me that, I'm like, you're the aristocrats and we're the criminals. But
I got some Sicilian in me too.
Yeah, this Sunday thing, I grew up with the same thing. So my grandma and grandpa had 10 children. My mother was number 9 of 10, and so that pasta Sunday, that was a ritual. We never missed that. And like your cousins would come, everybody in the family. Grandma would be in the kitchen. And I'm telling you, she's probably the spitting image of your grandma. She was shaped like a bowling ball, right? Yeah. But what a great time. The kids would play, we would eat, right? And we'd eat early. And then as the evening progressed, we would play penny poker. So they had a coffee can of pennies, and we all grab a handful, and we would just sit around the table and play penny poker. You run out of pennies, you grab another handful, and then when you're done, all the pennies go back into the coffee can. So after Dorothy passed away, I wanted to reinstate the Pasta Sunday. I didn't want to do it every Sunday, but I do it one Sunday a month. It's usually the third Sunday. And I invite, friends and family. And it's a wonderful tradition. I wish people would get back to that. It really brings people together.
Yeah, it's me and my wife tried to do that too. But everybody's got families nowadays, so it's a little rough. Holidays are, kind of rough too.
Yeah, I don't do it during the holidays, but
growing up, no.
Did you ever speak Italian? Can you speak Italian?
Only the swear words.
Yeah.
No, when my grandparents came over from Italy, I remember my aunts telling me that their mom and dad, my grandparents, told them, "Hey, you're in the States. We don't speak Italian no more. So you're not going to learn it." They did, but they always did it behind closed doors. And I never really spoke Italian in front of us.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, my grandfather said, "No, we're here. You speak English." I said, "Okay, whatever."
Yeah, my grandparents they spoke Italian all the time, and their English was always broken. But their children were perfectly bilingual, speak Italian and speak English. So
some of my cousins can.
Yeah,
some of my cousins speak Italian.
So what were some of the things that Grandma whipped up that you really liked? Hey, everybody, I wanted to take a moment to thank our sponsors. My dear friend Andy Thompson is the owner and operator of Talon Studios. Talon Studios makes custom knives. This is one of the first knives he made it for me. It's extremely sharp. Everything is made by hand. The handles, the grips, everything. They're beautiful, durable knives. We like to say knives for life. Whether you're a collector or you want knives for utility and function, he even makes the casings for the knives by hand too. Andy works with his son AJ. They are super fine craftsmen, and every knife they put everything, all their heart and soul into their knives. So that's Talon Studios. I will put a link in the description of each of the podcasts, and you'll see their information at the end.
We would make homemade ravioli, and the whole house was nothing but flour and bed sheets everywhere you could see. And yeah, that was to me. I loved my raviolis. We didn't make little raviolis. You know, you ate 3 of my grandmother's raviolis. You were full. Okay, you were done. Neck bones and gravy.
Nice.
Cracking the keg of wine. That was nice.
Did your grandpa make his own wine or no?
My grandfather, he passed away when I was young. So my grandmother did. We used to make eggplant, Moulin John.
Yep.
And I used to press it. It was nice. I knew how to cook Italian by the time I was 12 years old. I already knew how to cook Italian food. So that was some of the best parts about growing up in an Italian family.
Yep.
And then, you know, like the other side of my family, I'm Norwegian. So cheesecake and a lot of the fish and that kind of food was involved in there too.
You know, it's funny about like if you have any Italian in you and then you have something else, you always say you're Italian.
Exactly.
Like my boys they're only half Italian, and then my wife was half Dutch, half German, and you ask them what they are, they'll say Italian.
Right.
And my wife used to say, if you're not Dutch, you're not much. Right. And then I would say, let me tell you something. There's 2 kinds of people in the world. There's Italians and those who want to be Italians.
Exactly.
Okay, so.
Exactly. Everybody wanted to come over to my house to eat.
Yeah, man, you bring back the memories. My grandma, she would start early in the morning on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
She'd crank the Italian radio station and the smells in the house, you know. And when she was browning the meatballs in her cast iron skillet, she would smash 2 into patties, and then, you know, she'd cook them and she'd put them in a little saucer and put it on the stovetop, and that would be my breakfast in the morning. And that's one of my recurring memories that really I look back on, and I'm grateful for that. You know, grandparents are a blessing. We don't all grow up with grandparents, and when you have them in your life for a while, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because, you know, my mom never worked, nor did she ever drive. When my dad passed away, she was only 29. Wow. She was a stay-at-home mom. So my aunt was the only one who drove, and she worked for Ma Bell, the original Ma Bell. She retired from there. She taught my mom how to drive, and then my mom went out and got a job. So really, I was raised by my grandmother. Me and my sister were raised by my grandmother. She lived downstairs.
Because you said you were 9 years old when your dad passed away.
Right.
So she had to go to work right around that time, or not too long after.
Not too long after that, she went to work. She worked in the office. She worked as a waitress. My godfather had a lot to do with William Tell, the original one over on North Avenue, and then the one over in Countryside.
Was your godfather in your bloodline or no?
My aunt, he married my mom's sister, my Aunt Teresa, my godfather, my Uncle Phil. Yeah, he was full-blooded Italian, Sicilian too. So I also hung out there, you know. All my aunts taught me a lot of cooking techniques growing up, so it was nice. Downside was they were also very religious.
Catholic, no doubt.
Yeah, Catholic, and I'm not one to get up early in the morning on a Sunday to go do anything.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, really? Do we have to do this? It was either that or get beat by a wooden spoon. So yeah, I went.
My grandma used the spoon and the slipper.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. You started reaching down for the slipper, you know. I did a humorous speech, and it was called My Sicilian Life, and it was about my grandma. And I go, my grandma had, you know, 3 primary weapons, you know, the spoon, the slipper, and then the ambush, right? If you got away from her, right? I said in the speech, I later in life learned how to run the serpentine pattern, so she'd miss me with the slipper. But if she missed me, then she'd be hiding somewhere in the hallway or whatever, and then she'd grab me like a praying mantis and give me matzada, three swats, always three. One because she couldn't get me with the spoon. Two because she couldn't get me with the slipper, and three was the time penalty that she had to wait to get her vengeance. So
my grandmother, she'd wait for me to get out of the shower.
That's the ambush.
Off came the towel, and my uncles, they took a cutting board and drilled holes in them. And let me tell you something. You got hit in the butt with that thing, you didn't sit down for a week of Sundays because you had blisters. My grandmother and my mother would wait on me, and oh boy, that was like, I ended up breaking that thing. But
you mean they broke it on you, right?
No. I decided one day.
There you go.
Yeah, this got to go. Yeah. This got to go. I can't take this no more.
I'm too old. You got gun control and you got cutting board control. No more cutting board.
Yeah, no more cutting board. No. And then we had dogs. They could turn them dogs on me so fast.
How does that work?
You know what? I have no idea. But I could look at somebody the wrong way, and my mom or sister had to get them. And next thing you know, I'm running. And they're schnauzers.
Oh yeah, they're ornery. Those schnauzers. They don't. Yeah. They're little dogs with a big attitude, right?
Oh yeah, and they can bite. Oh God! But everybody loved them.
Awesome. So you had a pretty fruitful childhood, cultural childhood. It wasn't just exclusive to Italians, right? Because of all the immigrant families, they kind of have that culture around food and the Sunday get-togethers and stuff like that. That's a blessing. I'm glad. I'm happy I grew up like that. So you're going to St. Joe. You're in high school. You're kind of rabble-rousing then?
Oh, yeah.
You hanging around with a bunch of troublemakers?
No. The funny part about me and my friends, there was only about 8 of us. We weren't jocks, none of that stuff. We just hung together. We were tight-knit. I was the only Italian. And then the rest, Serbian, German, different nationalities.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But we like to drag race. We like to drag race, we like to drink.
Now, where are you drag racing?
Ogden Avenue.
Yeah, where on Ogden Avenue?
Well, we would probably...
In the Berwyn area?
No, we would do Cicero because Cicero was on Ogden Avenue. You could hit from by Burlington Northern. You had that long stretch up to Cicero Avenue from Central to Cicero. And it was about a quarter mile.
And kind of industrial there, right?
Yeah, it was industrial.
Yeah.
So we would fly up and down there. Hell, I got a ticket. I was doing 143 miles an hour.
Wow.
And get in front of the judge. This is back in the day when you went to village halls where they had court. Mm-hmm. And the judge goes, "You were doing 143." And, smart aleck me, I tell him, "Yeah, I was slowing down." And he's like, "You were what?" I go, "Yeah, I was slowing down." I had my cousin's car. My cousin had a 69 GTX.
A GTX is?
Plymouth. It was.
I'm a car guy, so those are rare. The GTX is a rare car.
Yeah, they only made them for a few years.
What did that one have in it?
He had a 440 with 3 deuces. Yeah, you only had the bench seat belt.
Yep.
Right. Yep. It was fast. I mean, you could.
Was it a 4-speed or
no automatic? Mm-hmm. Automatic, and it would go. So the judge come down and was looking at it because they wanted to impound my cousin's car. And I'm like, no, this ain't my car, And so I opened up the hood. He looked down, kind of shook his head a little. And I go, yeah, it's about $8,000 worth of engine sitting in there that we built. And so they were like, yeah, okay. We got to talk. So they took the car to make sure it was street legal. So I felt bad for my cousin, waiting for the car to come back. But yeah, then I pulled up one time in court, same judge, and I had a 69 Super Sport. That time I wasn't going that fast. I was only.
What is a Super Sport?
Chevy Super Sport. That one only had a 396 in it.
Is that a Camaro?
No.
Because the Camaro SS is a super sport.
There was different types of super sports. Mine was the Chevy, like the Bel Air.
Okay.
That one I had as a super sport. I paid $200 from an old woman in Berwyn. I was over by a buddy of mine's house and I got lucky. She opened up the garage door and here's this brand new 69 car sitting there. Still had the sticker on the window. Wow. I felt bad. Her husband had passed away. And what she did, she made the payments. Never drove it. Kids didn't want it. So I turned around and I was like, how much you want to sell it for? I wanted the car. It was black on black. It was beautiful. And she was like, I don't know. Give me $500. I said, I'll be right back. I went home, grabbed cash and said, here you go. Sign that title. And that turned into a toy. But that became my toy. That's the one I took back and forth to school and everything at St. Joe's. It was loud. It was fast. The thing is, you can't outrun Motorola. You cannot outrun
the radio. That's right.
You're not outrunning that radio.
Yeah.
And, sure, I could do 120, 130 miles an hour, no problem in it. But half a mile down the road, there's a Westchester cop. Where are you going?
Yeah, and I've had run-ins with Westchester cops, and they are not merciful with young men speeding around.
Oh, no. Especially if you go to St. Joe's.
And I want to tell you, for young men who are into cars, and not all young men are into cars, but when you're into cars like we were, and you have a sweet car, like, you just feel like you're on top of the world.
Oh, yeah.
And all my cars as a young man were, I had a 1978 Trans Am with the Screaming Chicken on the hood. I had an 81 Z28. You just feel invincible when you got your car and you drive like an asshole, right? Everywhere. When I see young kids doing that now, I yell at them. I'm like, settle down, because I was that kid at one time. You know what I'm saying? Doing 143 down Ogden Avenue.
I had a 75 Cutlass, and this thing was tricked out, T-tops, the whole 9 yards. I bought it in 77 for $3,500 cash. And
was it a 442 or?
No, I just had the standard 350 in it, but it was the leather seats, everything in it, and it was a girl car. It was a chick magnet. Everybody wanted to be in that car. A friend of mine had an Afghan dog.
Yep, I know what those are.
So I had the T-tops out one day, and the dog jumped in the car. I said, come on, let's go for a ride. We're driving around. Guy beeps his horn. You beeping your horn at? He's beeping. He thought it was a girl sitting next to me. It was a dog.
Because they do have like
it's the long flowing hair. And I looked at the guy and I'm just shaking my head going, oh my God, can't you tell?
That is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, that was Berwyn for you.
So you mentioned chicks. So while you have these nice cars, what's going on in your world with chicks then? Are you dating? How's that working out?
I had girlfriends growing up, but I fell in love with, she got a little bit of Italian, but she's more Bohawk, Greek in her.
Racist.
Yeah. Name's Laura. And she was beautiful. Oh, God, she was gorgeous.
How did you guys come together?
She went to IHM, Immaculate Heart of Mary, and she was just right across the football field.
Yep, that's how it works with the two Catholic schools. So you got the all boys, the all girls, right?
Yep. I found out that you could take classes over at IHM. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'll take home ec. So I'm going over to IHM. And then I ran into her.
Before you go into that story, tell the people out there who are younger than us what home ec is.
Well, that's where they teach you how to cook and clean and do all kinds of stuff. It's more for women, not guys.
I took home ec in high school. We made a pillow. We sewed up pillows and did all kinds of stuff. It's kind of cool now.
You know what? I know how to... my wife looked at me. I need my pants ironed. I said, well, give me your pants. I'll iron them for you. It's not a big deal. How do you know how to do this? I go, well, one, I grew up. And two, I was in the military. You got to learn how to do all this stuff. And she's like, I don't believe this.
That's awesome. All right, so back to Laura now. You took home ec.
We got real serious. She was 15, I was 17.
Which now would be very illegal.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, you're both minors, but as soon as you would turn 18, that'd be problematic.
Well, the problem was, I got her pregnant. And
when she was 15?
Yep.
Wow.
Luckily, she turned 16. The problem was I was 18.
So just on that, when you found out she was pregnant, do you remember what your mindset was as a young man? Were you thinking like your world was coming to an end? Like how are you perceiving that?
I was not happy. I didn't know what to do. That was the problem. That was the biggest problem. I didn't know what to do. Luckily, though, I had to tell my mom and my aunt.
How did they take it?
Not too good, but they were willing to work with me here.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was, she was still young. So, and like I said, I was kind of mobbed up.
What do you mean?
I had family members and...
Oh, you mean mob as in the mob?
The mob.
I got you.
Her uncle, I can say it now, he's gone, was one of the biggest hitmen in the city of Chicago.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So her dad, who I love and adore today, I mean, we're very close. He wasn't too happy with me. So he went to this guy, and then my godfather and his father came up. Look, we ain't starting a war. Fix this. So our daughter Tina got put up for adoption, and it took a few years. Well, it took a long time actually, and it's funny because my wife's born on Halloween, and I would always see her, and always think about her. I ran into her one day by accident in Irwin. Yeah, no, Stickney. There's a Jewel over there on 39th. And,
still there?
Yep. And I look over. Now I have my stepdaughter with me. I look over and I see her. She's got this couple kids with her, and very, very young kid. She calls the kid Kenny. Now I'm livid. I'm pissed. I'm like, I want to say something, but I got my stepdaughter with me, and I don't want to.
So how many years after your kid, this was 18 and 16, how many years after are we rolling forward when you see her at the Jewel?
Oh, this was, it wouldn't have been any of my children. It wouldn't have been my daughter.
No. But how many years you jump forward in the story, right?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I had gotten out of the Navy, and but.
Okay, so let's hold
I'll
that.
Go back to,
hold that story. Come back to we don't want to start a war because you getting whacked on a street corner because you got somebody pregnant, right?
Right. And like I said, I hung out with a lot of guys too, so we always hung together. So I wasn't really too worried about somebody jumping me or something like that. I wasn't worried about them.
So you gave your daughter up for adoption. Did that happen or
no? My wife did, without me knowing, without my knowledge. And
well, you say wife, but you weren't married.
We weren't married at the time.
Yeah, okay.
No. Yeah, I'll get to that story.
Yeah.
That's a weird one. We gave up the baby. Well, she did, and we went our separate ways. And I joined the Navy. It was time. It was time to get out of Chicago, get out of Berwyn.
And you told me before we started, and you were in the Navy from 1980 to 1990.
90.
So, and what year were you born?
1960.
So you're 20 years old now, roughly, going into the Navy.
Yeah,
okay.
I turned 20 in boot camp, actually. I joined a couple years later than most guys and girls do.
So why did you go into the service, and then why did you go into the Navy?
Oh, I went into the service because it's not a good thing to beat up police officers. Okay, it's not a good thing.
So that's one of the troublemaking things you were referring to.
Yeah, judges frown upon that.
Yeah,
they're not too happy with that. The funny part was me and my older cousin, we looked a lot alike, and he was at the party before me, and there was a situation, and he slapped this kid around and stuff. So, and he left, so I showed up, and next thing I know, I come to find out this kid he slapped around was the chief of police of Willow Springs. His last name was Corbett, who was, I think he ended up dying in prison with a couple other cops too. But they came in and they got a little, the kid's accusing me. I just got there.
But it was your cousin who looks like
my cousin. Yeah, my cousin. Cop pulled a weapon on me. And, back in my day, that was the worst thing that you could possibly do. you know what? If you're going to pull a weapon, you better pull the trigger, because I'm not stopping. I'm not going to freaking stop. I'm coming after you. The problem was I had a 32-ounce quart a bottle of Old Style in my hand, unopened. And that bottle ended up on his head.
Oh, boy.
And then it got rough. And I dropped him. And I went to grab another one. And the cop put a gun up to my head. And he's poking my head. I turned around and I used some colorful language. I told him, you're not the brightest in the world. He goes, yeah, why is that? I said, because you squeezed that trigger. Not only are you going to kill me, you're going to kill this idiot standing right next to me. And the other cop kind of looks at him like, uh-oh, you got a point. So they handcuffed me. They put the cuffs behind my back. I get out of the paddy wagon. The cuffs are in front of me. Now they're
How'd you do that? Under your legs?
I just went under my legs,
Yeah, gotcha.
I was 6 foot tall, but I only weighed 150 pounds.
Uh-huh.
And, played sports. I'm flexible, So, they said, so you want to be a smart aleck, huh? So what they did is they put my hands on the inside of the cell, cuffed them. Now my body was on the outside. But these idiots were so stupid, they forgot to turn the cameras off. So while they're beating me up, I'd already made my phone call. So my older cousin Karen come by and another cousin come by, and they're watching the whole thing.
They're roughing you up on cuff to the bars, right?
Yeah. So I'm the last one to go in front of the judge. They were all, the whole, my mom, the family, everybody was in cahoots. They knew what they were going to do with me. And
it's still that way. The whole thing is like a club, but whatever.
Yeah. So they gave me the option. You're looking at 10 years in prison for what you did, or you can join the military. So I'm like, I ain't stupid.
No brainer there.
No brainer. I walked out of there, walked right into the recruiting office the very next day, did everything I had to do. 2 weeks later, walked in front of the judge, turned around, handed my paperwork, said, I'm in the Navy. And he's like, okay. Then he turned around, looked at me and said, you still can't date my daughter. Because I was kind of dating her at the time. So that kind of got screwed up, but I ended up going, and then a year later, I went back to his courtroom in uniform, and I watched that man stop court procedures right then and there. Just stopped him, and he waving me up. He's looking at me. He goes, "How you been?" I go, "Good. I want to thank you." He looked at me. I go, "Yeah, I want to thank you. You probably saved my life, because I was going down a pretty bad road there. I mean, I would fight everybody and anybody. I mean, I've gotten into, back in my day, I probably got into 200 fights.
Wow.
And I can honestly say I've only lost 3. And it's taken more than, back in my day, it took more than 2 or 3 guys to take me.
So before we go forward with the story, I don't want to get philosophical with you, but is there something in you, or was there something inside of you to make you be so aggressive? Did you have some things you didn't resolve, or what was causing that?
When you're 9 years old and your dad dies, and you're mad at the world and God, and you don't know why, and you're young, you can't figure it out. So I was mad at the world.
Makes sense.
My uncles are trying to be my dad, and they can't. So no, I was pissed off at the world for a long, long time. And then, like I said, we raised hell in high school and everything. And then, like I said, the best thing that ever happened was when I got, into the Navy. And I got out of this town. I would have never, like I told everybody, I said, I'd have never made it to 21. I would have never made it to 21. I would have got into a fight, or got into it with somebody.
Shot by a cop. You were that close. Yeah. Think about that. So
yeah, and I didn't hang out in some of the greatest. We hung out in Cicero. You're either Bohemian or you're Italian in Cicero.
Cicero. Even when I'm 4 years younger than you, Cicero was like, that's the line you don't cross, because Cicero's tough. Al Capone was in Cicero, and so super interesting. All right, so so you join the Navy. What are you doing in the Navy? What is your do they say MOS in the Navy?
Well, I was supposed to be what they call a CB, construction battalion, And now you got to understand, I had long hair. And when I mean I had long hair, I had long hair. Sometimes I'd get tapped on the shoulder and lady would turn around and say, ma'am. And I would look at them and, oh, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. So so I went to boot camp. They shaved off all my hair and everything. Believe me, in boot camp, if you have long hair, they take their time. They take their time. They'll do half the side. Okay, go sit over there for a while.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Total, they're belittling you right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. So I was supposed to be a CB, construction. 3 weeks into boot camp, they come out and they said, hey, your job description shut down. You can't be a CB. And I'm like, now what? Well, because we screwed up your contract. We voided it. You can go home if you want. I turned around and looked at them. I said, do you remember how long my hair was? Yeah. I'm not going home looking like this. All right? No, find me something to do. So they gave me all kinds of different options and everything. I scored high on my ASVAB. I carried a D- average in high school. High school was boring. I took that stupid, was it SAT or ACT one? Both. Well, back in my day, you had to take both of them.
Yeah, me too.
And they thought I cheated. They honestly thought I cheated. So they were like, no way, he scored this high. Then I come back in, I scored even higher. Put me in a room all by myself, locked the door. Scored even higher. Took less time. So I'm in boot camp and I scored high on the ASVAB. So they're giving me all these things. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Aircraft mechanic. That sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. I want to be an aircraft mechanic.
So you had to score high for them to let you do that. They don't let anybody just do that.
Well, you didn't have to score nuclear high, but yeah, you had to score pretty decent. So I scored pretty good on my ASVAB. And so yeah, they sent me to school. It's called an A school. That's your first school that you go to. And it's just basic aircraft maintenance type mechanic stuff. You're not going to get really heavy into the airframe and everything just yet. You just learn basic stuff. And then from there, I went to the fleet. I had to wait for my C school. Now, C school is where you get real intense. You learn everything about the in and outs of that aircraft. So I went out to the fleet, and I was on an aircraft carrier called the U.S.S. Nimitz. They're getting ready to retire, old girl.
In its day, that was the bomb. The Nimitz was the bomb in terms of size and.
Yeah, she was a big girl. She was huge. We had 5,800 people on board, 5,800 guys. They don't even come close to what we had on ours. They even have less aircraft now. It was cool. But May 26, 1981, working flight deck. And this aircraft, it's called EA-6B. It's a Prowler. Marines were flying it. It's a radar jamming aircraft.
Is it because I'm really interested in aviation. I went to college for aerospace engineering. You could see the planes above there. Is that a jammer, like a type of plane like an E-2A Hawkeye, or is it more like a fighter plane that jams? What size aircraft is that?
Well, Hawkeye is the bird that I worked on. That was just straight up radar. We couldn't jam.
Oh, yeah. So the E-2A is a Hawkeye, right?
E-2C.
E-2C.
Well, it was the E-2A, B, C, and now it's Delta.
Okay, gotcha. So that had the radar one had the big dome on top. Yep.
Yeah. The Marines, you have the A6 and then you have the EA-6B. So it was electronic warfare and jamming.
Okay, so the A6 is a fighter.
It's a bomber. It's more of an attack bomber type.
Okay, I gotcha. I'm with you. I just wanted to know.
A6 has two people. It has a pilot and co-pilot. Where the EA-6B, we call it, sorry, Marines, we call it the queer. Because you got two guys up on top and then two guys down below. And the pilot and co-pilot are down here and your radar guys are up in here. And, back in the early 80s, there was a lot of amphetamine going on that flight deck, because you're on the roof now for 12, 14, 16, 17. I did 47 hours straight.
Wow.
Working the roof. He was on some kind of drug,
What does amphetamine?
speed.
Okay.
And what had happened was
Who's he?
the pilot,
Okay.
the Marine pilot, he came in and inverted his plane upside down and crashed. And then if you ever look at a carrier, it's got an angle deck on it.
Correct.
And we were hot spinning and hot fueling. And
What does that mean?
The engines are running. We're fueling them hot.
Okay.
Okay. The pilots and the plane captains are in the plane while you're fueling and everything. And we're fully loaded with ordnance. He came in and took out 6 airplanes. We lost 14 guys.
Wow.
In less than 10 minutes. I had a 500-pounder go off on the flight deck, put a big old dent in her. We were fighting the fire. What people don't realize, all these fighter aircraft, they have Gatling guns in them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're fully loaded. There's one in the tube. And when they catch on fire, it gets to a certain point, that round's going to go off.
Yep.
And it was so hectic. You're talking about 17, 18, 19-year-old kids on the roof. And, you're in the middle of the ocean. You got to fight this fire, and you're scared.
It's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Basically is what's happening there.
Yeah. And a round went off. We had what we call fire lines. It's 5 or 6 guys on one hose. Round went through, all 5, 20 millimeter. And
which is a devastating round to go through a human being. So
kid falls down next to me, 19. And I grab him. And he looks up at me and goes, I don't want to die. I said, just hang in there. Come on, breathe, breathe, breathe. And he didn't make it. He died in my arms.
Wow.
So I had to lay him down and go back to fighting that fire. All right. We lived there. Plus, I'm sitting on top of 2 nuclear reactors.
Yep.
All right. We got the fire under control. We had to push birds off the side into the ocean. Mm-hmm. We were off Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we made it back to Norfolk, Virginia in less than 8 hours. Aircraft carrier can do 60 knots. It could do 60 knots. It's not supposed to go above 30.
And 60 knots for the people out there is more than 60 miles an hour on the water, right?
It's 1.1 miles an hour.
Yeah.
All right. So, you're pushing
66.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
You're moving. They actually had a rooster tail.
Wow.
On the back of that carrier. And we made it back. We came in, we pulled into Norfolk for 24 hours. Yeah, less than 24 hours. They fixed the flight deck. We put right back out.
Wow.
Yeah, right back out. We were back out at sea. That was pretty rough at the time. You're young though. You don't think about it. You don't care. But yeah, so I had that accident.
I have to read about that because I never knew that story. I'm sure it happened in my lifetime, but I don't remember it.
The thing is, it's classified.
I gotcha.
You could Google it on YouTube, and you'll see parts of it. They won't show you the actual footage of that because, it was a black eye for the military. And because of that, that's how urinalysis started in the military, because of that accident on that flight deck.
It reminds me of the Forrestal, because they had an incident on the Forrestal, and I knew somebody who was on the Forrestal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was bad. Actually, Senator John McCain, it was his bird that launched a Zuni rocket, which started the whole fire.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, if you watch that, and a lot of guys died on that one too. A lot of mistakes were made. A lot of mistakes were made during the Nimitz fire. I mean, I've been on it when we've had other fires, but not as bad as that one there.
I know a little bit more because I'm into engineering and war stuff, but the coordination to run a carrier during, launching and landing and stuff, that's a huge thing. I mean, that's a huge thing, and it's easy for there to be even a small error that creates a calamity.
Take off and launch every 30 seconds. We were faster than O'Hare Airport, okay? We could take off and land pretty much simultaneously. That's how crazy it gets. Now, imagine me, I worked a day shift for maybe a week, and I'm begging them to put me back on nights. And they're like, why? And I'm like, you know how scary it is up there during the day? my God, you see everything. At least at nighttime, you can't see much.
Oh,
You know?
wow. Yeah.
So you're not as nervous. You're like, oh, thank you, Lord. But on a moonless night with no stars, that's dark.
Yeah, I bet.
It's dark up there. And all they hand you is this flashlight with a blue light in there. And okay, go do your job. What am I supposed to do with this? I can't see nothing. And you get used to it, though, believe it or not. You can see hydraulic fluid when it's leaking. So, and it was nice to be on the flight deck at nighttime in the wintertime, though, because them planes go to afterburners. You're nice and toasty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I worked on the E2C Hawkeye and the C2A Greyhound. The Greyhound's actually being decommissioned. She was a cargo plane. She brought personnel and mail to the boat. People get mad because I don't call it a ship. It's a boat. I don't care what anybody says. We're Navy. We call them boats. But my plane, at 30,000 feet, what people don't realize, it's 10 miles to the horizon. Okay, so, no, the Earth is round. It is round, people, trust me. But on a carrier, it's flat. You can only see 10 miles to the horizon. That's it. So without that aircraft, radar can only go so far. So that's when my bird came in. We get up to 28, 30,000 feet. Now we're looking 3,000 miles away. We could see everything in the air and everything in the ocean. We know what's out there. And that was the cool part about my bird. But I got lucky. I got to go to Bethpage, New York on and off for 3 years to learn about that plane. And sometimes I don't consider myself too lucky because it was cheaper to send Kenny than it was to send Grumman Aerospace to go fix a plane. We didn't make a lot of money, So, because when I first joined, I made $400 a month, $100 a week. Luckily for the kids nowadays, they're making not great money, but they're making. See, I was making $32,000 a year, and in '90, you could double it now. And some, the E5s, E6s, they're pushing 70, 80K, which they deserve it. I mean, we all did, but they deserve it, because their cruises are a lot longer than I would only go out to sea for 6 months. The problem is out of a 12-month period, you're gone 9 months. So it didn't make for great marriages either. I got divorced 4 times. They got tired. I don't blame them. I mean, I'm still good friends with my ex-wives.
I want to pause you on the $100 a week because you're just a few years older than me. So in 1982, for instance, when I graduated U.S. High School, I worked at McDonald's. I was making $300 a week as a manager at McDonald's. You're making $100 a week in the Navy. So it's interesting.
Like I said, when I first joined, but then we got this really cool president named Reagan. And Reagan came in the office and said, you know what? No, we're getting a 24% pay raise across the board, enlisted and officers. And boom, we got now. So we went from $400 a month to maybe $600, $700 a month, but I mean, that's an E1's pay, but it was still nice. We got extra money. But yeah, no, they didn't pay well. Trust me, they did not pay well.
They still don't, in my opinion, but.
Well, I see life, my life insurance in the Navy was only $35K. Now it's $250K. I mean, I don't want nobody's parents ever to get that money. I'd rather you come to hell home. Actual time was 10 years, 3 months, 14 days.
So during that 10 years, did all those marriages occur in that 10 years?
Pardon?
Did all those marriages occur in those 10 years?
No, but 2 of them did, and it just wasn't good.
How are you meeting a female and even having enough time to date and stuff like that,
One of them was in my squadron. She worked for me. Okay.
That answers that one.
Yeah. And then the other one, she, Kathy, may she rest in peace. She was Army, big Army Navy fight. She was an MP.
Oh boy.
So she hit me with a nightstick.
Love it first whack.
But I got 2 beautiful daughters out of it. So yeah, no, you can't be gone. Hell, I went on a 6-month deployment. I was home for 8, 9 hours and had to turn around and go back out on a 6-month deployment because half the squadron failed a urinalysis test.
Oh boy.
And like I said, I was trained so much on the plane from Grumman that you don't tell an admiral no. Okay, you just don't do it. So I had to go. I wasn't happy, but I went. It was my job. I enjoyed my job. I mean, I was a kid going nowhere and got to work on, at the time, one of my planes cost $72 million a piece.
Wow.
And here's a kid that only with a high school education, and I'm signing safe for flight.
Wow.
And I got pilots. I got radio operators. And I would always tell the people that worked for me, I don't care if you're a guy or girl, look, if you don't think that bird is safe for flight, you come get me. We're not putting anything in the air because, these are moms and dads too. I want them to come to hell home, And so I prided myself on that and the people that worked under me, for in both of my squadrons that I was in for the 10 years, a sortie is a flight. So we call them sorties, but it's just an actual flight. For 10 years, I had 100% sortie rate. Now, it doesn't mean that plane flew, okay? On my part of it, my aspect, it could fly.
So it was safe to fly.
It was safe to fly, but there might have been something wrong with the electronics or something, and it couldn't really do anything. But as far as they were concerned, on my half, and, hey, it's good to go. Now you fix your problem. That ain't Kenny's problem. That's your problem.
What particular part of the plane did you work on?
I worked on the airframe and the hydraulics, the landing gear. The only thing I didn't work on was the radar. I worked on the engines. Even though we had engine mechanics, there was hydraulics in there, so I had to work on them too.
Gotcha.
So pretty much, I could work on everything on that aircraft as long as it was structural. All right, that's what I knew how to do. I could work on the dome. I could do all that good stuff. I just couldn't do the electronics part of it.
Interesting. So I got to ask you, now that I know your history up until the Navy, did you lose that, confrontational wiring in you?
Oh, hell no.
No?
No. We got into a few haymakers in the Navy. We were in Haifa, Israel. I'll tell you what. I have never been around a female military person carrying an Uzi.
Wow.
So I got there. And a fight broke out. And we all got in a little bit of trouble with the people of Israel. So, because it was their army and our Marine Corps.
Oh boy.
That were going at it. So my job is, I'm jumping on my guy's side. So no, I didn't. I had it, but it slowed down a lot, especially when I was around my kids and everything. No, I slowed my temper down. Got worse again when I got out. Yeah. But then I was going through a dark time.
And then I want to touch on that too, because we kind of flew past the event that happened on the Nimitz, but that's combat trauma right there that you went through.
People, they look at you funny because I have PTSD and anger issues. You're in the Navy. How the hell do you get that? I watched the kid commit suicide, walk right through the prop of my airplane. Head went left, body went right. I shut down. I grabbed my kids. I call them my kids.
Your team.
My team, and it's, I said, calm down. I grabbed the body bag, walked over, picked his head up, threw it in, zipped it in the body bag, handed it back to the medics. And then in the process of doing that, we shut down the aircraft. I turned around and told my guys, all right, go over to this one, fire it up, get it ready. I'll come over and we'll launch it. And, I had to get them out of their head. I had to get that out of their head. You got to get back into the game. I watched the kid jump off the back end of a boat because his girlfriend broke up with him. And two of my guys were running to tackle him. I tackled them. And I said, everybody downstairs in the ready room, now we got to talk. And I brought the whole squadron up. I said, let me explain something to you. I don't want to have to write a letter to your mom and dad. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. You grab him. He's taking you with. And let me tell you something. They're not going to find you. 3 days later, a Russian tin can pulled up and handed, flew the body back to us.
There's no stopping an aircraft carrier. You jump off the side. I mean,
that's it.
You're done.
You're done.
You might not even survive the fall, right? Because you're.
Oh, I did. There was 14 of us, but it's 90 feet down. Let me tell you something. Water's not soft.
Nope.
Water hurts. But as far as death, yeah, I seen, but when you're young and you're in your 20s, you don't think about it. I went to sleep. I went, when that kid committed suicide walking through my prop, I went and launched the plane at the front of the boat. And I had officers grabbing me. And I kind of pushed one. I got to turn an aircraft here. It's spinning and I got to go. Launch the plane, come back. And now I'm standing in front of the old man. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? Well, when you see something like that, you're supposed to come off the flight deck, the roof, for 3 days. I started laughing. And I was laughing. The old man's getting pissed at me.
The old man is who? Your boss?
My CO, my commanding officer. I go, who's going to launch the planes? And you got other guys do it. I said, who's going to sign safe for flight? Nope. Wait a minute. We got a problem. What about this and what about this? Who's going to work on him? Who's going to wrench on him? I said, I'm all good. And I put it in the back of my head. Just locked it in there, put it away. Don't ever think about it again. Man, you're young, you're good, you're strong, you're tough. So yeah, it crept back out one time. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it was in a bad place. Drugs, alcohol, 9mm in a dark garage. And I got lucky. For some ungodly reason, my uncle called me on my cell.
It wasn't for some ungodly reason. It was for a godly reason.
Well, you can look at it both
don't
ways.
happen by coincidence, my friend. That stuff happens divinely, in my opinion. But
it
go
does.
ahead.
Yeah, I was done. I was over. I was like, you know what? I can't take this. Biggest mistake. I should have never got out of the Navy. They kind of medically got me out.
Is that what happened? Because you were in there for 10 years. So what made you get out of it then?
Oh, I busted up my neck, my back, my knees.
Just from the wear and tear on the deck, or?
Well, you're on a steel deck for one, two. A lot of hydraulic fluid, a lot of slipping and falling.
Yeah,
you're around high-pitched jets, and our air gear worthless.
Yeah.
So you get the tinnitus where your ears are constantly.
I had that.
Yeah, your ears are constantly ringing. It's a pain. And then I got a little bit too big for my britches too.
While in the Navy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Everybody's replaceable. Everybody, you might think you're the best. There's always somebody better. Always somebody better than you. So my attitude got the best of me. I was out in the Navy for a year. Remember caller ID?
Of course. Well, we still have it, but.
Oh, my Lord. The phone's ringing. I was living in Lyons with my sister. I looked down at the phone and I went, don't answer that phone. Because it says NAS Norfolk on it. I said, don't answer it. And me and my sister, we loved each other, but we also loved to hate each other. Hello? They go, can we speak to Petty Officer Avery? I'm calling her all kinds of names. I go, yeah, what's up? This Petty Officer Avery? I go, nope, this is civilian Avery. Been out of Navy a year. You're back in for 2 weeks. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. There'll be 2 Marines and a lieutenant in front of your house in an hour. Be ready. I'm like, yeah, okay. I come walking out, hair's down past my shoulders, got jeans, a t-shirt on, and here comes 2 Marines. They're looking at me funny. I'm drinking an old style with Marlboro in my mouth. I ain't going.
Another shout out to one of our sponsors, Nevis Nutrition, which is a vitamin and supplement shop in Lamont. Owner Joe Bosco, dear friend of mine. Joe is super knowledgeable in nutrition, extremely knowledgeable in fitness. All the top athletes, weightlifters, bodybuilders, they go over there. He's really instrumental in help coaching our young athletes too. He's located in Lamont. I'll put the address in the description as well.
And then they handed me my paperwork. I went, oh, I guess I'm going. Well, you can't bring that beer and cigarettes with you. You want me to go? You can play by my rules. I flew back to Norfolk to fix an airplane.
Really?
Yeah, went back there, fixed an airplane. And now you want to talk about my attitude. Guy put the wrong part on the wrong side of the plane. And then he manufactured a hydraulic line. So if you know anything about my aircraft, the wings folded and spread. So they couldn't figure this out. So one wing would fold, the other wing would spread. And they even had Grumman Aerospace there.
Wow.
And they couldn't figure it out. So I get there, and I'm talking to a couple of guys that worked for me. I was like, hey, show me. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Come on. Who put this part on? I walked right up to it. I said, who put this part on? And I looked. I go, okay, take this off, take that hydraulic line off, order the right part. Go to AMD right now, get the parts, bring them back. You're going to install them. I said, where's he at? And they're like, Guide, because my call sign was Guido. And they're like, Guide, he's in the shop. I grabbed a buddy of mine. His call sign was Sick Raj. The other one was Hawks. I said, don't let nobody in this door. Okay. They heard some things. I walked out and I looked at both of them. You might want to call the paramedics. He's hurt. Well, I had admiral and full bird captains and commanders. And I'm like, he could have killed you. It could have been that one time that both of them went up and locked. And then all of a sudden it decided, no, this isn't right. And you're in flight. And they're like, what happened? I said, oh, he'll be fine. He's just bleeding a little. He went from an E5 to E3 in a matter of an hour.
Well, you gave him a little cutting board, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I had more than a couple pilots, a couple of ones that I really, really trusted and hung out with. They were like, man, what's it going to take to get you back? I'm like, nope. Can't afford me. Can't afford me. I'm like, I said, it costs you a whole lot of money. Whole lot of money. But you're looking at one of the biggest mistakes I'm the biggest idiot there was. I turned down what they call a line duty officer. They were going to make me an officer. The problem was I was stationed on the East Coast and they wanted to put me on the West Coast. And I couldn't work on airplanes anymore because I would be an officer. Oh, yeah, let me think about it. No, I couldn't do it. Sometimes it kicks myself in the butt. I'm like, that money you would have been making, nowadays, you would have been enjoying it. Well, yeah, no, I'd say I talk people to go. I probably talk 80% of the people. I'm like, look, if you want to join the military, I'm not going to tell you what branch. I'm just going to tell you about the Navy. It's the only place you're going to go and be on vacation for 4 years. You're going to go to countries you're not going to go to them when you get out. Can't afford them. They're not going to pay you to go there. Go see the world. You're young. Enjoy it. Yeah, you're going to be mad and do all that other garbage and everything, but at least you get to travel. I go, it's better than being in the Army and sitting there, and laying on the ground at nighttime freezing. At least in the Navy, you got beds, do something. And don't get me wrong, I love all 4 branches. I'll defend them. We're the only ones allowed to pick on each other. Civilian steps in, now you're dealing with all 4 of us. And there's only 4 branches. I don't care what anybody says. It's the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, and the Marine Corps. The Coast Guard is Department of Homeland Security, and there's only 200 people in Space Force. I still ain't figured out Space Force.
Another podcast on that one. So.
Oh, what do you?
Is it true the Navy gets the gravy and the Army gets the beans? You ever hear that song?
Yeah.
In the 1940s war movies,
Well, the funny thing is, though, is like I told somebody last night on the podcast, I said, I can't relate to you 2 Marines. I said, because you know what? I lived on a hotel. I had hot showers. I had a bed. I had 3-4 meals a day.
That's a nice way to look at it, too.
Yeah. I lived on a hotel. I was busy, but.
So I told you about my son. He's, get my camera. He's right there in that picture there. He's a Marine.
Right.
And he got deployed on a ship, as I told you, a Navy ship with a Marine fighting group on it. And so he was out to sea for 6 months floating around Syria because they didn't know what someone was going to go on over there. But when they had leave on shore, they were in Italy. He said it was unbelievable. It was a cultural experience to be in a foreign land, like you're saying, right? So it's
what part
cool.
of Italy?
He was. He did the coast of Sicily. He was actually there. So
so he was in Sicily.
Yeah.
Okay, not Italy.
Well, you're talking to a Sicilian. What are you saying? Sicily isn't part of Italy?
No. Sicily, Capri. Italy.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him. I thought it was Sicily.
Anything north of Rome or south of Rome is a cesspool.
Okay.
You go into Naples, and to this day, I got friends just got back from there, and they're like, Kenny.
You're going to make Italians mad here, but go ahead.
I'm like, they're like, Kenny, you ain't kidding. It's filthy. I said, I said, I told you, go to Sicily and go to Capri. It's beautiful there. And don't get me wrong, northern Italy. When I was there, I never met so many blonde, blue-haired women that are full-blooded Italian.
Isn't that something?
That was crazy. I was like, oh my, because you're right next to Switzerland too. Which, don't get me wrong, the food was great. The food was good. I got a buddy of mine. His family's from Italy. He spent 10 grand and built a pizza oven in his backyard.
Wow.
Yep. And every spring and summer, that's constantly making real pizzas, not this stuff, Americanized stuff. His is straight up Italian.
They're completely different.
Oh, they are. They're crusty, and you got real ingredients on it.
Yeah, I just saw this in a video. The flour we use here, they modify the wheat and how they process the wheat. And this guy was making his pizzas ordering flour from Italy. They don't process it the same way.
That's what my buddy does.
Yeah.
Comes from Italy. And then I got another friend. He makes homemade Italian sausage. And it's 90% lean. Fennel powder, not seed.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, well, some of us old people don't like that seed stuck in her. We like the flavor, but yeah, no, it's...
What's your friend's name?
I have Dominic Iannetta. And
hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then John Romero.
Nice. I have a dear friend, Frank Balestri, retired CPD. His call sign is the Sod Father because he makes the super sod.
Okay.
But he teaches at the Culinary Institute how to make, homemade Italian sausage, the super sod, capicola. He's maestro with that stuff. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? My buddy's getting ready to hang sod. It takes
you gotta press it and hang it and all that stuff. Yep.
Yeah. He's getting ready to take care of I love that.
Yeah, that's why Italians are the best. So you're out of the Navy. You go back after a certain time being out. You fix the plane. Now what's going on in Kenny's life?
that was my dark time.
Is this stuff coming back to you now about
Yeah, I
the
was
shit that
getting-
happened on the plane, and you still got maybe a little anger, residual anger from
Yeah, it's getting.
the dad and all this? Let's just say you still got storms swirling your head, right?
Yeah, my brother-in-law was a paid-on-call firefighter over in Lyons, and we were sitting in the backyard, and fire broke up in my neighbor's house. So it was closer for just me and him to run over there. And you never forget that smell of burnt flesh. You never forget it.
There's nothing like it.
And it triggered. It triggered everything.
Because of the flight deck thing, it's gotcha.
That's when the spiral started. The alcohol, the cocaine.
Did you have a job at the time?
Oh, hell yeah. I
Oh,
worked for material service in the quarries. It just spiraled bad. To the point where sometimes I wouldn't even go to work. And, you know, then I lost that job and got it. I started working for a company, and I was working under a plumber's license. So I was learning how to become a plumber, which was good because the problem with plumbers is we all drank. You went to lunch, and so we were happy. And there ain't too many Italian plumbers. So he was Italian, I was Italian, life was good. It just got to the point, though, where I couldn't sleep. I couldn't keep my eyes closed.
Is it because
The flashbacks.
shit going on in your head?
Yeah, the flashbacks and the night terrors. And they are real. I would get up and I'm fighting in my sleep. And my ex-wife's like, I'm going to sleep in the other room. You need to get fixed. So went to rehab. It lasted a while, maybe 6-7 months, relapsed.
What was the bigger issue, the drinking or the drugs, or were they just
both.
equal enemies, right?
Can't do one without the other.
Gotcha.
Okay. Especially cocaine. You can't do cocaine without alcohol. That's just the way it works. Got out of rehab, lasted 6, 7, 8 months, maybe. Fell right back into it. And then that went on for a couple years. You know, finally, after that phone call from my uncle.
What phone call?
I actually was going to commit suicide that night. I had my weapon and everything. I bought a 92F Beretta, made in Italy. The American ones at the time were jamming. The ones in Italy were not jamming. So that's a heavy weapon, 10 pounds, fully loaded, 15 in the clip, 1 in the tube. So I was making peace. And, you know, between the Jim Beam, cocaine, and he called. Somehow, some way, I don't know how he did it, but he got a hold of my sister. And my sister came out to the garage. It was dark. Garage door went up. And next to my sister was a good friend of mine, another Italian kid. They're like, no, you got to go. We're going. We're leaving right now. They didn't realize I had like about $1,000 worth of cocaine on me. So they take me to the VA. And, oh no, he's outpatient.
Heinz?
Yep. I took all that stuff out of my pocket, put it on her. The Maywood police officer, because that's who was working, who was security there at the time. He goes, is that what I think that is? I go, yeah, that's a whole lot of, you know what? They're like, nope, lock him up now. He's got to go in. I made it through. And I quit. Quit the drinking, quit the drugs.
What was the experience like, though, at that time following where you went to Heinz? Did you get counseling?
Oh, gosh. You know what? I don't want to pick on, and I can only speak about Heinz. I can't speak about the other VAs, but Heinz is not a good VA hospital. Not at all. They're so outdated. They, you know, AA might work for some people, but it's not going to work for everybody. It's outdated. They want you to do 90 meetings in 90 days. Well, guess what? We want self-satisfaction now. Okay. I'm not going to 90 meetings. No way. But modern medicine can help you quit. So I was on this drug called naltrexone. It's good. It works. It was designed to help heroin addicts. I found out it works good for alcohol and obese people. And so I was off 4.5 years. Nothing. Then my sister got sick. And it fell back into the same program. She died of ovarian cancer. She had that bag on.
Colostomy.
Yeah. So she would come over to my house. We'd be sitting in the backyard. And I got a refrigerator in the garage. And she'd go and grab a beer. Now, it just goes right through her. It goes, and you can watch her drink. It's coming out that bag. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at her. I'm like, and after about the fourth one, I'm like, wait a minute. You can't get drunk. I know, but I just had a taste for it. I go, you're drinking my beer and it's not even doing it. And she's like, yep, but there's 4 cases out in my car. Go get them. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, you're the one who wanted me to quit. But yeah, finally I ended up, I beat it.
So this is round 2 of beating it, right?
Round 3.
Round 3, okay.
Round 3. I know I'm going to jump ahead a little bit more than you want me to, but on June 6th, I got the long face from the doctor.
June 6th is D-Day.
Yeah. And they rushed me into surgery. And
June 6th, when? This year?
This year, 2025. I was going septic.
Which means what?
I had a tumor on my small intestine, and I fell. And another tumor knocked it off. And I didn't know I had cancer at the time. And when you go septic, you get delirious. And you're in a lot of pain. And sorry, I'm Italian, I'm hard-headed, and I ain't going to the hospital. It ain't happening. So the wife turned around and said, you're going. So they got me in there, CT scanned me. And I don't remember after that, they put me in surgery. And they took 10 pounds of tumors out.
Wow.
But I'm looking at the pictures. I look up at my doctor. I went terminal. I go malignant. He goes, damn. I go cancel Christmas. He goes, don't jump the gun. Relax, calm down. So, and to make a long story short, I don't do drugs. I don't drink hard liquor. But I do drink beer. And sometimes I let that get the best of me too. But I know what I'm going through.
We're going to finish with that, with what's going on there. Where do we want to go in the story? So I
know I bounce around.
Yeah, that's fine. And it's my job to keep us on sort of in a timeline. So you got to the point where you were ready to end it all. You went in to VA a couple times after that?
Yeah, 3 times.
Okay, so after the 3rd time, your ship is basically righted now where, you know.
It was.
Okay, so then what happens with relationship-wise? Like,
I had no relationships. I mean, it was bad. My family, my sister, believe it or not, my sister.
What
took care of me.
When did she pass away?
Oh, God, years ago. She passed away when she was 42. Young. Ate her to the bone. Left 2 kids. And
that also triggered you back into the darkness. Yeah.
I went bad spiral. Started drinking heavy again. No drugs. I'll be honest with you. No drugs. Just drinking. And at that point, it was just beer and Jim Beam. Old style and Jim Beam.
It doesn't matter what kind of alcohol. It's still alcohol. Know, so
I hate to say this. I know a lot of people love Jack Daniels. I never liked it. I liked Beam. And then, you know what? I'm a Chicago kid. Okay, so it was either going to be Old Style or Stroh's. Maybe a PBR.
Yeah.
I don't even think they make Schlitz anymore. I don't know. I'm not even sure.
I don't either.
But that was some nasty beer.
So I'm interested now in your relationships and your marriages and your kids now. So how does all of that evolve?
Well,
So you had Laura was given up
Laura was
Tina for adoption.
Yeah.
And then you had 2 kids with one of the women,
Her name was Kathy.
And now what happens next in your relationships?
Well, I have 2 daughters that are only 7 months apart. So by 2 different moms. Kathy was the Army girl.
So is
And
that
she
one
was
of the
Navy.
is that one of the daughters? Kathy's daughter or no?
Yeah, Kathy. I have Nicole and Shannon and Danielle with Kathy number 1. There's a Kathy number 2.
How do you have 2 daughters 7 months apart?
Well, that's because of Teresa.
I've drawn a flow chart here.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna need a what they got what do they do in baseball where they have all the players on it? You need one of them scorecards.
Yeah, rosters and all that stuff. Yeah.
Like I tell everybody, I know I got 6 kids that I know of. Okay, I'm not sure. I won't do a DNA. They might be lined up a block away. Guess what? There was Kathy and Teresa, and when I was in the Navy, and Kathy was first, and then we broke up, and then Teresa and I had 2 kids, Frances Christine and Kenneth Wayne. And then I was gone for so long that she finally said, enough's enough. I can't do this. And I don't blame her. Like I said, we're still friends. And then I ran back into Kathy, number 1. And oops. And that's where Danielle comes.
Gotcha.
Okay. And get out of the Navy. And then met Kathy number 2. And I'm gonna really get you going. Had a son named Keith who decided to become Kalen. So that was you want to talk about hard. You kind of feel like you failed as a dad. Because why does your son want to become a girl?
I have done podcasts on this, and this could be a couple hour discussion, but what age did he start the process?
18.
Okay, well, I'm a little more okay with that than when parents do it when they're little. That's ridiculous to me.
I totally agree with you there, but it was still rough on me being
yeah,
Italian.
I can't even imagine.
She lived with me for 3 years, but lazy. Had to go.
Now comes to me the interesting part, because somewhere in there, Laura, right? The 16-year-old girl that you got pregnant, how does she pop back in the picture?
Lovely Facebook. Like I told you, she married a gentleman. They were married for 32 years. All right, he passed away, heart attack. And I'm getting all these weird messages. What the heck is this, right? So I don't know nothing about social media. I click on this thing, and it's her. I'm like, okay. So she's been trying to messenger me, how are you? What have you been doing? Blah, blah, blah. So I call up our daughter, Tina, down in Florida. And
so let's pause on Tina. So how'd you find her then?
Oh, Tina found...
Because she was given up for adoption, yes?
Yeah, Tina found her mom. And then Tina came to Chicago.
What age would she be at that time, roughly?
20s.
And did she have a good family that adopted her? Or?
No.
Okay.
No. But she came to town, and Laura took her to St. Joe's. Said, all right, here's Dad's graduating class. You point him out. I'll tell you if that's your dad. She turned around. She goes, right there.
Wow.
And Laura goes, yep, that's your dad. And it took a while for us. I get this private investigator shows up at my house. I got an Irish wolfhound.
Huge dog.
Huge dog. Dog loved me. I don't know who this guy is coming to my door. He flashes this badge. Wrong thing to do to Kenny. Don't flash your badge because you know what? I'm going to turn it, take it sideways, shine it up, and stick it up here. Okay? He's holding something in his hand. Now I can see his weapon. He got a little 38. I got a shoulder holster with a 9. And he kind of moved his suit a little. Oh, really? And I turned around and I went like this. Dog. And here come this Irish wolfhound. I go, don't move. Because if this doesn't get you, that's going to get you. And he's looking at me. He goes, are you Ken Avery? I go, no, I'm not. Can I help you? That's my brother-in-law. He's looking. Then it dawned on me, he's got a picture. You sure you're not Ken Avery? No, my name's Dean Milankovich. He goes like this, and I go, oh, great. Yeah, what's up? You might want to call this number. He hands me this number. I'm looking at it. It's a Florida number. And he goes, just call. Just call. You'll be happy when you call. I said, all right, sorry about the... No. It's not the first time. All right, we're all good. He goes, does that dog bite? Only on command. I go, doesn't bite me. I don't know about you, but he doesn't bite me. So now I'm looking at this number and I'm going, Florida. I'm like, oh, great. Who did I get pregnant? No, come on. And so I finally call it. And it's her.
Her is in
Tina,
your daughter.
So we talked a little bit. It took a while for us to get back together, but I forgot to tell you, when with the Laura thing, I had to call Tina and my daughter Frances. We call her Doozy. That's how she goes by, is Doozy. Because she was a doozy of a baby when she was born. And you know what's going on? And they're like, yeah, you don't know? I go, no. She lost her husband. I'm like, oh wow, that sucks. And they're like, Dad, don't do it.
Laura lost her husband.
Yeah, Laura lost her husband.
Your girlfriend from high school. Yeah.
The girl that ruined it for all the other women. Let me get that point out there real quick. I was head over heels in love with that girl. She ruined it for everybody else. Okay, plain and simple, she ruined it.
That's a nice compliment too.
Okay, and they're like, Dad, don't do this. Don't see her. You're going to regret it because we know what's going to happen. And I'm like, no. You know what? I'm old. I'm mad enough. Wrong. So she comes walking up. And I was like, oh, man. It hit like a ton of bricks. A ton of bricks. It hit me. It was back. I knew. Everything that I felt growing up just came back 100 times even worse. I was like, oh, my God. She's still freaking gorgeous. God, she's everything. She's the one that I always wanted. So we moved in together. She had a house out in Glen Ellen. We moved in together, and then we were like, no, we can't do this. We got to.
Okay, so let me pause because maybe I got lost there. The phone number was her number?
Yeah.
The Florida number?
No, that was Tina's number.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. You already said. So you and Tina were working back together.
Yeah, we were working back together. Yeah. So, yeah, that worked out good. But Laura was the one who got us back together and everything. So it was nice. I got 4 grandkids with Tina. But we bought a house in Bolingbrook, and we've been going on 9 years now. So
9 years of marriage?
Well, no, we just got married July 31st of this year.
Okay, but you've been married. I mean,
we were living together. Yeah, we were living in sin.
That's so amazing to me.
Why?
Well, just that the fire is still there. Right?
Oh yeah.
You went on your own life, and you met other women. She went on her own life and got married. And there's something about that real first love. I think they always have a piece of your heart. Oh yeah, you know what I mean.
And then being born on a Halloween, so every Halloween I knew it was her birthday.
Yeah, you thought about her
right all the time. She's the one who got me involved in this K9 thing.
All right, so we've done a pretty good job taking you through childhood to here.
Yeah.
So now I want to talk about the veteran stuff. This is very interesting. But before I talk about that, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
It's a two-part question. As you're going through all your shit throughout your life, I know your sister was kind of a bedrock she was a rock for you.
Yeah.
But did you have, and do you have any friends that have stuck with you that you can lean on, go-to people?
A couple, but I'm a loner.
Okay.
They got their own problems.
Yeah, that's fine. And then what about your faith? What?
I got away from it, and then when you get told that news, you kind of start going back to it a little. You got to get right with a few things in life. I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you that with the problem we have in the Catholic Church. I kind of lost a lot of faith.
We can go on a little side street here. So with the Catholic Church, are you referring to like the pedophile thing and all that stuff? Yeah. I am a Christian, I'm born and raised Catholic. And during the time of all that scandal, I wasn't a practicing Catholic. My wife was a devout Christian. So I was more on that end of it. That was a punch in the stomach for me too.
Mm-hmm.
And not to get into political discussion, but I don't understand how people who are devout Catholics, and my Aunt Rose is my angel on earth. She's still alive and is a devout Catholic. When that kind of stuff happens, like you see your organization that you subscribe to, like that's really bad. Like, why wouldn't that cause you to find another religion? You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you on that. And I'm going to give you a copy of my book here. And I have a chapter in there called The Catholic Church. So
right.
We're going to be like-minded on probably that.
Oh,
but back to your faith. So all through this time, we've come through childhood to today. Where was your faith then? Where you were kind of...
It wasn't there.
Okay, got you.
It wasn't there. But when you get hit with that reality check, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
A lot of people don't understand. One, they don't understand. Two, they're afraid to talk to you. Oh my God. They avoid the subject. Don't get me wrong. I got out of the hospital after 10 days. I told them either you let me go home or I'm just going to AMA my butt out of here. I'm going to walk out of here. Either way today, I'm leaving. I'm going home. I'm hungry. I'm tired of this. I know what's happening in life. Time for me to go home. Was I mad at God? Yeah. Was I mad at the world? Oh, hell yeah. I didn't understand why. And the weird part is I got one of the rarest cancers there is in the world. It's 4 letters. It's GIST. It's gastrointestinal strom something.
Mm-hmm.
Only 40,000 people in the world get this stuff. There's no cure for it. None. And when you're stage 4, you're beyond chemo and radiation and all that good stuff. So I take a pill. Well, I was taking a pill. They found out the pill was shutting down my lungs. So right now I'm in limbo. No medicine. They're trying to figure out. They found one, but oh my gosh, I don't know how people can afford it. For a 30-day script, it's $5,000. Now I'm luckier than most. I'm 100% permanently disabled veteran.
I wanted to ask you about that. So you do get
mine's free. Everything's I get disability pay. My meds are free. Everything is free, but not all of us get that. And what do senior citizens do? I don't, like you said, I don't want to get political either, but there's no way in hell people can afford $5,000 every month for a pill. And here's the worst part. Oh yeah, it's going to help you. It'll help you with your cancer. You're going to die from it, but you'll probably die of a heart attack or your liver shutting down because this damages that. So now you sit there and you look in the mirror and you go, well, why take it?
Yeah, well, the drug thing is
out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not only pricing, but we don't have stuff dialed in with the drugs and stuff. It's it'll help one thing and then it causes another thing. We don't have a healing-based healthcare system. We have a treatment-based. So we'll talk about that when we're done with the podcast. I got some stuff for you that because I'm well researched on cancer and stuff. So before we talk about all the veteran stuff, you have a couple tattoos on your forearms. What are the significance of those?
Oh, young and dumb.
Gotcha.
Young and dumb. I got the Grim Reaper. I have a puppy, as you can tell. I got a puppy. And she likes to play. But that's the Grim Reaper. That one said Satan's disciple. And then this one is the Roadrunner and Coyote.
Show it, put it in front of the camera there.
Oh, God,
No, just hold up your form like that, yeah.
this thing.
Yeah, there it is. Yep, good.
It was supposed to say beep now, and the girl that did it said, "You're gonna have kids one day. You don't want to have that language on there." And she was correct. So I also got rid of this one that said Satan's disciple. I have a few others.
What was your mindset with the Satan's disciple? I mean, I like the Grim Reaper conceptually because the Grim Reaper to me represents death, okay? And death will come to us all. And so I'm very philosophical in a certain way. And my friend told me, you're a Stoic. And I'm like, what is a Stoic? He said, Stoicism is an ancient Greek philosophy. And the Stoics subscribed to two fundamentals. One is memento mori, which means in Latin, remember you will die. And the second one is amor fati, which means I love my fate or love of fate. And the Stoics weave this into their daily thoughts, not as a morbid thought, but as today could be my last day. I do not want to waste my precious moments of life on anything that doesn't serve me. I don't want to have anger, anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. And they keep going, remember, you will die. Right. So I've been this way for probably a good 15 years now. There's another photo up here, which we can't see. It's right there. That guy right there, he passed away of cancer. And when he got diagnosed, that's when I said, life is short. I say it all the time, but I'm not living my life in such a way where it actually reflects that. So I started thinking about, well, if this guy's in his last days and he's my age, then the same thing can happen to me. So I better get my shit together and stop sweating the small stuff and living my best life. So I'm always revolving in my head about today could be my last day. I mean, many times a day. And it keeps me grounded and living in the present moment. And I'm not afraid to talk about death because I'm thinking about it all the time myself, not in a morbid way, but I just want to make sure if I get hit by a bus today that I don't waste any minutes of my life on being stupid. Let's color out the veteran thing. You said Laura got you into K9s For Veterans, right?
Yes.
So tell me what that organization is.
What they do is it's so cool. We rescue dogs from shelters and kill shelters, and we pair them with veterans and first responders, and we train them to be service dogs.
What does that mean, a service dog? What kind of training is that?
A service dog has to perform a service, like get your keys or get your inhaler, get your phone. And they're also there, like mine, he knows when my anxiety's kicking in, so he'll jump up on me and just gently touch my face with his paw. All right, Dad, calm down.
Wow.
That's good. Right. And that's a service. That's part of being a service dog, and that's being one of the services that he knows how to do. He knows how to calm me down when my anxiety kicks in. And like if I'm having a nightmare, he wakes me up in the middle of the night. All right, gotta calm down. Gotta calm down. Life's good. But we've had over 200 dogs in the program. It takes about 2 years to become a service dog. And it's a lot of training. But the cool part is, say I give you a dog, you're going to help with the training with our trainers. So then when you get home, you can continue that training. So we do it 3 times a week.
So you're training the people to become trainers as well.
Well, you have to be. Mm-hmm. You have to, because, just coming to training once a week or twice a week doesn't really help you or the dog. You got to know what to do when you're at home too. All right. And then you're going to be taking that dog out. So it doesn't, we're not dog specific either, which is cool. I mean, we got from Pomeranians all the way up to Great Danes.
Wow.
We have all different types of dogs. Whatever fits you. The thing is, though, before you can get a dog, you have to come in. If you're married and kids, they have to come in. And it takes 2 or 3 times. before we find that right dog for you with the right. Say you got nothing, like you got your puppy.
Mm-hmm.
We got to make sure them two get along.
Right.
All right. So and then like I said, it's a 2-year program. Some are faster, some are longer. All right. It all depends on how much you want to put into it.
What a win-win though, because you're saving an animal too.
Right. Like my boss says, we don't know who's saving who. The cool thing also is he's been doing this now for going almost on 10 years.
Who's your boss?
Michael Tellerino, another WAP.
He started K9s for Veterans?
Yes. Yeah, he's the CEO.
Awesome. We're going to put information in when we put the podcast up for K9s for Veterans and how people can get involved. Yeah.
The cool thing about our program, we've never lost anybody to suicide. Never. Knock on wood. I get to see things that other people don't get to see. I watch these men and women come in, old and young. They're reluctant. They're hesitant. Do I really want to do this?
These are veterans that are wanting maybe get in the program and get a dog. Yeah,
and get a service dog. And 3 months later, they're laughing. They're joking. They come to training. And people don't understand. Sometimes training doesn't mean you got to work your dog. Training means I got to work me. And so I'm going to talk to the boys and girls. We're going to laugh and we're going to joke. That is part of training. That's part of your service dog training too. Your dog is realizing that, hey, there's people out there. Because the other part of the service dog training, God forbid something happens to you, paramedics show up. That dog has to release. Let them do your thing. Mm-hmm. Somebody has to be able to take that animal and make sure everything's good. And that's, like I said, part of the training. But yeah, and she got me involved. We walked into this tiny little store. Everything in there is veteran owned.
This is the one in Bolingbrook Mall, yes?
Yes,
I've
in the promenade.
Yeah, I've been in there.
It started out small. I bought some things. And then one day they asked me, hey, can you go pick up dog food? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm bored. So I went and did. And then did it a couple more times. And they listened to me. I talk too much. I got diarrhea in the mouth. I tell everybody that, but they overheard me talking to veterans. So they asked me if I would go talk one night at this event. I said, nah, I don't know. And they're like, look, you're good. I'm like, I don't know. So I did. It was just me, Laura, my dog. And I went on. I talked. And that started that whole train rolling. I mean, it just started to roll.
So tell me about the venue. How many people?
And that one had about 300 people in it.
And what did you write a speech?
No.
You just ad-libbed it.
I ad-libbed it.
Nice.
Is
that recorded anywhere?
No.
Okay, no. Because if there was, I will put a link on for the podcast for that too.
Oh, no. I just talk. But the thing about me is I listen. I listen more than I talk. I don't make it about me. I talk about K9 for Veterans, and that's it. I've walked out of events, and people have stopped me. Hey, Kenny, what branch were you in? I go, does it really matter? Well, yeah, we're kind of curious. United States Navy. And it's not about me. I'm 65, okay? I'm more about the veterans, the first responders. I had a nurse the other day. I mean, I didn't realize nurses and doctors are committing suicide. They can't take it. But for me, it's more the listening than it is the talking. And then when I do talk, I like to tell everybody, this is what it's all about. What you see, what you're doing with your donations are these dogs for these men and women. You're saving lives. You're the real heroes, not me. I'm just a guy. I don't wear a cape. I'm just here to talk, spread the word. You're the heroes. You're the people. And a lot of people can't understand that. And it's just fun. It's a very stressful thing to do. Takes a toll on you. I almost quit a couple times because of the stress. And
this is not the stress of talking about K9s for Veterans. This is when someone's calling you in distress, right? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, yeah, that one's rough. K9 is a 7-day-a-week job, anywhere between 4 and 10 hours a day. The people behind the scenes, I've worked with some of the greatest people in the world. Such good people. And there's only a handful of us. And they're some of my closest personal friends. They've helped me through my cancer. And they've helped me through my difficult, stressful times. You know, hey, slow down a little, take it easy, back off a little bit. All right. Well, you know, that lasts about 4 days and I'm already getting ants in the pants. Okay, I got to go. I got to do this. That's why I do the podcast and the TV show. I enjoy going out and talking to people. And listening, like I said, and listening to them because I want to hear their story. I want to hear what happened to them and how can I help you get beyond this and how can I help you, fix it? I mean, I've had people.
You told me on the text message that you were on the phone with a veteran for 2 hours that you might have helped that person pull out of their tailspin a little bit, right?
Yeah, he did. He called me the next day. Well, he texted me the next day and said, thank you. And I said, for what? He texted me back for saving my life. And I texted him back and I said, I didn't save your life. You did. I just listened. And told you how much better your life's going to be when you figure out you. The VA is not for everybody. Psychiatrists aren't for everybody. I don't claim to be a psychiatrist. I don't want to be a psychiatrist. I'm just a guy that'll listen to you. You want to talk? Hey, let's talk. Let's laugh. Let's joke. I'll cry with you. I don't care. But if I can talk you down or get you in a better place, then it's worth it. That's what it's all about. It's not about Kenny. It's about that person, that individual. And I usually talk to 2 or 3, sometimes 4 vets a week. I don't care what time of day and night it is. It doesn't bother me. You want to talk? Let's talk. And I have a few that I check in on them. I worry about them. Because sometimes, just click, light switch in your head. And
you personally have been there, so you know.
Exactly. I'll shoot them a text every other day, sometimes every day. Mm-hmm. Just checking in, bro. How you doing? What's going on? And I always get pretty much the same response. Thanks, man. Thanks for checking in. I've had guys tell me straight up, hell, my own family doesn't call me, but you do. I said, well, we're family, bro. We're military.
That's what I consider what you're doing. You're doing God's work. And Michael Tellerino, that's his name, right?
Yeah, Michael Tellerino.
For starting the foundation, kudos to him. And our mutual friend, Vicky Todner, who she's a badass. Thank you, Vicky, for
Iron
us.
Angels.
Yep. Veterans are very important to me. Anybody who serves currently and who has served, they're important to me. So, I have a copy. I have a bunch of copies of my book in my car, and I have them in a little baggie, and I have a little typed note, and it says, "Thank you for serving our country and protecting our freedom. You represent the best of us, and why I'm a proud American. Thank you again for your service." Whenever I see a veteran license plate or I see a veteran walking around, I'll run up to them, shake their hand, and I'll hand them the book. And I'll say, Chapter 9 is titled Freedom and Veterans. And I just want you to know I'm a grateful American, and you're very important to me. There are so many people that feel the way I do that never even served in the military. So I'm going to just make a public announcement to the veterans who are watching and people who are serving. You are the best of us, So if you're ever in despair, I'm no counselor or whatever, no. But I will listen to you too, and you are all important to me. So I just want to get that out there. What can we do, Kenny, as civilians now, whether we're veterans or people just walking the earth? This is my book, How to Be a Warrior of Light in a Dark World. It's available on Amazon. It's about mindset and many other things. It's kind of a handbook on life. I have my second book coming called The Gift of Grief. That's at the editor right now, and that will be published probably within a month or two. So thank you all for joining the Warrior Podcast. Thank you to our sponsors. We'll see you at our next show. What can we do at an arm's length to make it better for veterans? Is it the handshake and thank you for serving our country? Is that part of it?
That's a big part. Just acknowledging them. The one thing that I try to tell people not to say is, thank them for their service. Yeah, but one of the hardest things you can do is ask a veteran, hey, how you doing? Because we're not going to tell you. Because deep down inside, we're not doing good. We're hurting. Like I said, this is all facade. And that's what military people do. They put on a face, and it's hard to do, but you have to do it in order to get through life. But just thank them, acknowledge them. All right, especially in these times, it's one of the greatest things you can do to a veteran. I've talked to veterans that are in their 70s, and they thank me for my service. And I turn around and I tell everybody this when they thank me for my service. I said, you were worth it. You were worth everything that I did.
I love that.
All right. I'm not going to tell you, well, you're welcome, but you were worth it. And that's what I mean it. I truly mean it, because you know what? Everybody in my world, everybody's worth it. I mean, life is too short. Life is too fragile. It's not worth being pissed off constantly. And
amen.
I'm trying to get the veterans out of that pissed off mode. Come on, let's laugh. Let's go do something. Let's have fun. Because then I got that other organization I belong to. That's the one that hurts the most.
Yeah, talk to me about that. This is the Warrior Memorial, right?
Yeah.
The Forgotten Warrior Memorial.
Yeah. That's a Michael Tellerino, Reggie Latuca. They founded this. Well, they founded both of them. And the problem with, everybody's 22 is synonymous. The numbers it's more than 22. It's more like 40, 50 a day are committing suicide. This out at the state park out in Shanahan.
This is where the memorial's at, correct?
Right, the memorial's out there. Each branch has a granite pillar. And what we do is we put the names of soldiers in military who lost their battle to their demons, committed suicide. And, they're heroes. They served. They served their country with honor and dignity. I'm going to be careful what I say, but their parents really don't have, they have closure, but they don't have closure. So Michael and Reggie came up with this idea. It's fantastic. You can Google it. And we present a flag. We talk highly about each and every individual. We bring the families in. It's about an hour and a half ceremony, and each family. I do a lot of behind the scene work on that one, because that's a hard one for me. But we'll have somebody come out. We have a guy comes out and engraves the names up there, and my wife will take this black tape with letters on it, and I'll go out there and I'll cover up the names so nobody, peels the tape off or sees. I don't need a family member seeing that name right then and there, in case they pop in a day early. Because we're countrywide. We're the only ones in the country that does this. There's no other memorial like ours. Um, Talking about expanding maybe to a couple other states and everything. Uh, like I said, it's the suicide rate's higher than what they're saying. Um, in my world, veteran ODs. If he ODs and dies, in my world, that's suicide. He couldn't take the pain anymore. The pain got to him.
I got you.
Okay. No, he just committed, or she just committed suicide. We just put the first female name up. Yeah, Navy. Um, and the last one a couple months ago, 19 names went up. And I think last checked, I heard 9 or 10 already.
Mm.
And we're going from twice a year to 3 times a year now.
Boy.
So what does that say about my government? I have a T-shirt that says, if you're willing to send us, you better be willing to mend us.
Wow.
And guess what? The problem with the military is this. You go in, you do your thing, and your time's up. You don't get a thank you. You don't get a goodbye. Who's next? You're just a pawn. Like I said, I don't want to get too political, but you know what? The VA is understaffed. It's outdated. They need to get into the modern era. Phones. I mean, you can't. Like I said, these young kids want everything self-satisfaction. They want it done yesterday. They don't want to sit and talk to a psychiatrist today. All right, they want to be fixed. The VA can't handle it. They can't handle the amount of people, especially now you got the burn pits and all that they're going through. They need to start sending us out to private practice and flipping the tab for it. They say they do, they don't. But they got to figure out something. Yeah. I can't be losing this many kids, and I take it personal. That's the problem with me. There are certain things that I just take too personal. I want to go stand in front of the House and the Senate in their chambers, and use some extremely colorful language and turn around and say, I'm no senator's son, but you don't care, because if you cared, I wouldn't have to do this 2-3 times a year. So you need to end this. You need to figure this out. Until it happens to them, they don't care. They're like, yeah, whatever. It was your job. Well, yeah, it was my job. But I went in there. I wasn't crazy, I mean, a little bit. But, you got to be 10% crazy to join the military anyways. And I'm going to say to younger kids, even though I still got Vietnam guys, they're kind of the worst. They don't like opening up. Whatever, we need more help. We need more help. We need more money. We need more doctors. And if you can't get them there, we need to get them. We need to get these people somewhere else. We got to get them in a better place. And, like I said, that memorial, I'm 65 years old and I got to wear sunglasses because the tears are flowing down my face, because I look at the parents. I look at the babies. I look at the kids. We had a guy. I don't know his name. I don't remember his name. Active duty, 5 weeks to retirement. 5 weeks. Committed suicide. Here's the problem. When you commit suicide, you lose all your benefits. You don't get no more. Nothing. And you served. You served with honor. You deserve them benefits. You deserve them. Yeah, I'm not saying suicide is, a good thing. But on the other hand, you got to take care of mom and dad. And another thing people don't understand about military suicide, the effect it has on the family, your siblings. Nobody talks about that. Nobody looks into that. Wait a minute. How's mom, dad? How's the sister doing? How's the brother doing? No, got to worry about them now. Well, guess what? They're part of the military family.
That's right.
All right. So who's there for them?
That's right.
And when I see them out in Shanahan, that's why I get pissed. That's why I get aggravated. I want to say something, but it sucks in the position that I'm in. I got to be politically correct. Well, one of these days, I'm going to stop being politically correct and tell both sides, say, hey, you know what? We need to figure this out.
I'm gonna go on a little political rant right now because all the bullshit we see on TV, left, right, Democrat, Republican, da 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 da. There's one common thing that all sides should be looking at, and that's taking care of our veterans. I get so pissed off when I'm, illegal immigrants are getting all this, credit cards and phones and all this stuff, and I don't know what's true and what's not. We get so caught up in this nonsense, I'm going to call it, and we forget about our veterans. This should be one of our core issues all the time. This should be a top 5 of all the, let's say there's 25 things that the politicians always talk about. Veterans should be in the top 5 in every conversation, right? We got to talk about abortion over and over again, and homeless and everything else, which is a problem. But our veterans, they paid a price for us. Like, we should be doing everything for them. That, in my opinion, could be number 1 issue. You know what I'm saying? And it just angers me that veterans don't get what they should be getting, both with the VA and acknowledgement in society. We're talking more about the trans movement and pride than we are about veterans. I'm going to say it. We're fucked up here.
Yeah, we are.
It pisses me off. So.
Well, what's even more screwed up? So if you make 6 figures a year, all right, you're a veteran, you get out, and you got a good paying job, you're not entitled to benefits.
That's irrelevant too. Like, what does it even matter?
What?
Right?
Wait a minute. What do you care? Did you serve? I like telling everybody, hey, did you ever look down the barrel of an AK-47? No, you didn't. Did you ever work the flight deck of an aircraft carrier? No. How do you walk without a spine?
Yeah.
Okay. Get out of here. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Until you walked a mile in our shoes. As far as the other, my wife gets so mad at me. I'll watch tennis. I'll watch ping pong just so I don't have to watch that damn news.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's depressing. Ugh. I look at how do I put it? These young kids getting indoctrinated at school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a firm believer in bring back the draft. 2 years, just like every other country. Guess what?
Yep.
You're doing 2 years. Oh, and if you go somewhere else out of the country and you want to draft dodge, don't think about coming back because now you're going to do life in prison. But bring back the draft. You see a whole attitude change.
I agree.
And I think that's the problem with society today. And then I wouldn't have to put names on the wall.
Right. I agree.
And like I said, it's so bad. On one hand, I got to do this memorial thing, right? And it hurts. And then on this hand, I get to work with these dogs and these people and coworkers. How do you balance it?
Yeah.
All right. It's very difficult.
One is a prevention for the other.
Right.
You got to do the other because you have to pay them tribute too.
Right. It's tolling. It takes a big toll. I see what it does to my boss. And between Michael and Reggie, they're strong people. I don't get how they can do it. I'd go nuts after 10 years of doing this.
You said Reggie's last name is Latuca?
Latuca.
Another paisan or
no? She was married to one. She's Polish.
Okay, gotcha.
she's a short, skinny blonde.
Now, you had mentioned the podcast. Tell me about the podcast. You do a podcast, right?
Yeah, me and Michael, we do a podcast. We talk everything. Last night we're having a comedy Elvis show this Saturday out in Stone City, VFW Joliet. So we had a comedian last night. We got Elvis on tonight. So we're gonna hopefully Elvis wears his hair because he's bald.
Where can people see the podcast?
That would be K9S For Veterans.org.
Okay, so I have to go on the website, right?
Yeah, you got to go on K9s. It's
We'll put that in the comments too.
So yeah, no, and then we like the Forgotten Memorial. We had a few of the moms on. Now we're going to have a couple more podcasts with the moms talking about how they cope with life. Mm-hmm. K9, VA people. You know what? I've learned how to deal with politics, cope with it, be politically correct. You know, because in my business, you better be politically correct if you want money.
Yeah.
You want people to donate money to you, and yeah, you better be nice on both sides. And I've learned how to do it. You know, I don't let people get to me anymore. You know, you got your ideas, I got my ideas. Guess what? Let it go.
Yep.
We got this common goal. Let's take care of these people.
Oh, my friend, love the mission you're on.
Thanks.
You lived in the darkness and you saw gruesome things on the aircraft carrier. Our human brains aren't made to see stuff like that. So, no. And like you said, doctors and nurses, police officers and first responders, a lot of them are going through some nasty crap. So, I thank my veterans all the time. And then when I see police officers on duty, I walk up to them too. I shake their hand. I go, and this started during the defund the police nonsense, which is complete nonsense. I just shake their hand and say, thank you, officer, for serving our community and protecting us. You guys have a shit job now. And I still tell them that. And I go, I just want you to know I'm a conceal and carry. And if I ever saw you or another officer in distress, I would be fighting by your side. And I mean it. So
I have no problem with that.
And they appreciate that.
Anybody that wears the uniform, even if it's a nurse or a doctor,
I agree.
I got your back. I'm going to say this because, you know, God works in mysterious ways. I'm not that religious, but for some reason, he gave me the gift of talking and listening, and then threw that curveball in there and said, guess what? You're going to do this with cancer, but keep doing it because you know what? Nobody else is going to do it. And you're good, and you have fun, and you make people smile, and you make them, you get them to stop crying. And, you know, I'm very grateful with that aspect. I'm very grateful for the people in my life and what I do. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Nothing at all.
That's awesome, brother. So, you know, the word warrior and the concept of warrior is very important in my life. And my book has the word warrior in it. My podcast has the word warrior in it. And we are in the age of the warrior. Yep. It's time for us we have to rise up now. And I believe like that is what you're doing. Well, no matter how many days you got left, and no matter how many days I got left, we fight until the end. We fight when we're injured. We fight when we're bleeding, and we got to crawl down the battlefield, and we fucking crawl down the battlefield. You know what I mean?
I know.
So, it's been a great honor to have you on the podcast, and we're going to put a lot of good information in the comments so people will know where to go.
Okay, great, thank you.
And
it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been a great honor, my friend. We'll talk some recipes and stuff, and we're now connected. So.
I appreciate it. Yep. Nope.
All right, Kenny Avery. To all you veterans out there, thank you for serving our country. Remember, everybody, there's a warrior inside us all. Love you all. We'll see you at our next podcast. Thank you, Kenny.
You're welcome.